Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Will meets 3 Forrester knockouts, Dr. Buckingham's next step for Taylor. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers recap for Wednesday, October 2nd, reveals that Ridge Forrester eventually induced Taylor Hayes to see a specialist. He was especially agitated to hear the fantastic Dr. Grace Buckingham was at the top of Lee Finnegan's cardiologist list. At Forrester Creations, Brooke Logan reflected on how much she missed her own mama and was glad Steffi Forrester now had a chance to make up for lost time with Taylor. In the design office, Will Spencer remained skeptical about whether fashion was his thing, but he'd in commerce with a seductive model named Willow that induced him to give Forrester a pass. While Katie Logan was pitching Steffi on the possibility of Will immuring at Forrester, Will crossed paths with another gorgeous model named Kingsley and flirted with her, too. There was also the veritably cute Lainey, who had been working at Forrester many weeks and was hopeful about Will working there as well. As Will gabbled with all these lovely youthful women, it came clear that he was liking the idea of working at Forrester more and more. Back with Katie, she learned an intern spot had indeed opened up now that Luna Nozawa was gone. Katie was pleased when Steffi agreed to meet with Will, but she felt the need to advise her that Will wasn't sure about going into fashion. Still, Will eventually told Steffi that despite his original reservations, his passions had changed. The further time Will spent there, the more he realized Forrester was exactly where he wanted to be. Katie spoke with Will intimately subsequently and realized all the knockouts of Forrester affected his decision, but she didn't feel to mind. Over with Steffi again, she wondered how Bill Spencer would reply to Will working at Forrester Creations. Brooke also realized she didn't know where Ridge was, so Steffi said perhaps he was with Taylor. In Dr. Buckingham's office on Wednesday's B&B occasion, she was happy to help Taylor and Ridge since they were Paris Buckingham's future in-laws. As this sounded critical, Dr. Buckingham asked what was wrong. Taylor confessed that she'd been diagnosed with heart failure, but Dr. Buckingham was concerned about the lack of follow-up tests so far. Since they demanded to know exactly what they were dealing with, Dr. Buckingham suggested a cardiac enzyme test to start. That was a test to determine if Taylor was having or had ever suffered a heart attack. All Dr. Buckingham demanded was a simple vial of blood to assess Taylor's labels and see the extent of the damage if there was indeed heart attack substantiation. Buckingham said there were further tests they could do after that, but this was the one she recommended to begin with. Taylor remained pessimistic about all this, but she agreed to let Dr. Buckingham get the ball rolling on the cardiac enzyme test. Once Dr. Buckingham stepped out of the room, Ridge assured Taylor that she was a fighter who was strong and valorous. As Ridge got choked up, he claimed Taylor wasn't alone presently and hugged her since they were in this together. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Dr. Buckingham will pass along some surprising results soon, so stick with us for further prognostications on Taylor's future and updates on the news that awaits. No way Ridge can keep a secret, Taylor's opinion comes to the light. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers show that Taylor Hayes returned to City with a secret opinion, and it puts a new perspective on everything that she has been saying. For case, she participated a moment with her son, Steffi Forrester, and explained how proud she was of her. While on the face this feels like just a nice moment for the mama and son, it could have an important deeper reason behind it. Numerous presume that Taylor's opinion is terminal, and she returned to City to make amends and see her family one last time before she was gone. Still, while she wanted to keep this as a secret, it's formally being shown to people. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Taylor Hayes at death's door? Taylor wanted to keep this on the down low, still, she formally told Lee Finnegan. Lee, indeed though she's a croaker. Will presumably ultimately let this slip to someone. Sure, you can argue croaker. Case confidentiality, but this is a cleaner pieces. Worse yet however, Ridge Forrester witnessed her take a fall. Ridge is the only defense between Taylor and the rest of the world knowing. Of course, Ridge will want Taylor to tell her family and musketeers and partake the news after just dealing with Eric Forrester's health news just a many months agone. Is Taylor going to say anything however, or will Ridge blunder her secret? B&B spoilers, Ridge Forrester bursts the damn Ridge isn't going to take this information to his grave. However, he's learned from Eric the significance of participating your health with your musketeers and family, and he won't want to deal with this again, if anything. Whether Taylor agrees with him telling people or not, the Verity is going to come out and Taylor will be nurtured by her entire family. Of course, that's if she's telling the Verity. There's still a shred of mistrustfulness about her illness and how she returned back to city right now. Is she really trying to pull one over on everyone as a way to get back to Ridge, or is she really suffering? The question is still over in the air, but we hope if she's sick that she'll tell everyone. What do you suppose? Should Taylor just tell her family the Verity, and do you suppose that it could be life hanging? Grace's enzyme test, Will's externship, Steffi cautious. The bold and the beautiful recap for Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, is eventually then. In Moment's occasion, Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes meet with Dr. Grace Buckingham. The bold and the beautiful recap highlights while Spencer gets an externship at Forrester Creations, but Steffi Forrester Finnegan is cautious. B&B recap, Taylor Hayes battle on Wednesday, October 2nd, Ridge says they're going to fight. Taylor says she's a croaker and knows the symptoms. Ridge insists on specialists. Ridge doesn't want to lose Taylor and hugs her again. Steffi is gushing about Taylor to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang. The kiddies are super happy. Steffi says Taylor is right where she needs to be. The bold and the beautiful recap, Will Spencer's query Will isn't certain about fashion or Forrester Creations. Katie Logan, Heather Tom wants Will to give it a pass. Will still isn't sure about the externship. Willow the model walks in and introduces her to Will. As they shake hands, Will's jaw drops. Katie tells Willow about Will's plans to transfer to LA. Willow is looking for Hope Logan, who isn't there, and leaves. Will suddenly decides he wants to intern at Forrester Creations. Brooke shares with Steffi that the way she looks up to Taylor is how she viewed her own mama. Brooke wishes she had further time with her mama. Steffi feels the same way about Taylor. Brooke tells Steffi she now has the chance to make up for lost time with her mama. Taylor tells Ridge that Grace was at the top of the list of Lee Finnegan's referrals. Ridge exclaims that Grace is like family. Taylor is scrupling. Ridge doesn't understand and starts calling Grace. Taylor doesn't want to go, it's only going to confirm she's dying. Ridge says that Eric Forrester was the same way, but also John Finnegan figured it out. Ridge thinks that Grace can save Taylor. Brooke thanks Steffi for supporting the bedroom line. Steffi will always support a mega hit, but can't say the same about HFTF. Brooke says Hope and her platoon are doing everything they can to turn it around. Steffi admits that she knows Hope is trying her stylish, and only time will tell. Katie interrupts to talk about Will conceivably immuring. Steffi is surprised. Katie says she should have checked to see if there was indeed an opening. Steffi says there's an opening now that Luna Nozawa isn't there presently. Steffi agrees to meet with Will, but doesn't feel fired up about the idea. Before Katie heists Will, she admits that her son isn't sure if fashion is his thing. Another model walks up to Will and recognizes him from prints in Katie's office. Will is asked if he's a model. Will says no and exchanges for a bit with the model. Will and Kingsley are officially introduced, also the model goes on her way. B&B spoilers Grace Buckingham's discovery. The bold and the beautiful recap for Wednesday, October 2nd reveals that Ridge and Taylor meet with Grace at the sanitarium. Grace and Taylor exchange small talk, substantially about missing their kitties. Grace's face falls when Taylor says she has been diagnosed with heart failure. Another model wanders in the lobby. This bone is named Lainey and asks Will if he's seen Pam Douglas. When Will looks at the model, they both pause for just to alternate to claw at each other. The model assumes Will works there, too. Will says he's exploring his options. The model hints that she'd like to get to know him more. The model walks down, leaving a brochure on Pam's office. Steffi is confused. Why is Will applying for an externship if he's not indeed sure he's into fashion? Katie says she knows how it sounds, but if Steffi gives Will a chance, she knows he'll love it there. Brooke agrees. Steffi wonders what if it doesn't work out. Katie sighs, also says Will is youthful and he'll move on. Katie says that Will is trying to figure effects out, but he'll surprise everyone, including himself. Steffi tells Katie to bring Will in. Katie brings Will into the office. Brooke embraces her whoreson. Steffi gets right to the meat of the matter. Steffi tells Will that Katie recommended him as an intern, but he's not certain he's into fashion. Will nervously says yes and no. Steffi asks him to explain. Will stammers the further time he spends at Forrester Creations, the more he wants to be there. Steffi isn't so sure, but Will insists that's what he wants. Grace asks Taylor about the tests the croaker ran in Europe. There were no tests, Taylor just wanted to get home to her family. Grace says they need to know what they're dealing with and suggests some tests. Taylor hesitates and Ridge jumps in to encourage her. What's wrong with many tests just to confirm? Ridge also says Grace is the stylish in the business. Katie and Will go back to her office. Will jokes about Katie cramping his style. Kingsley comes up to ask Will how effects went. Katie watches as Kingsley and Will converse. Will introduces Kingsley to Katie, also the model exits. Katie now realizes why Will took the externship. Steffi and Brooke debate about Will's externship. Brooke decides to leave to tell Ridge the news. Steffi says she's not sure, perhaps Ridge and Taylor are together. The Bold and the Beautiful recap, Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. Grace wants to run a test to determine if Taylor's had a heart attack. Grace explains the reason she wants to run the test. Grace wants to check Taylor's enzyme situations, particularly one that's released after a heart attack. Grace can see Taylor is overwhelmed, and says let's just start with this one non-invasive test and go from there. Grace exits to get the test set up.